Angel Reese just got called out by her own coach, and it happened right after the most crucial loss of Atlanta's season. Reese was destroyed not by a fan account or a random reporter, but by the guy who coaches her every single night. He looked at what basically said the quiet part out loud. We're going to get to that exact quote, but first you need to see what Reese did all game that made him say it. Do you think the Atlanta Dream regrets trading for Reese? Let me know down in the comments below.
Angel Reese, part 33! Let's get it! Burn! She's got the yips on wide open layups! Burn! On national TV, Angel Reese did not disappoint the Chuck and Duck. Bang! It's Angel's Island, party of one, nobody around. Bang! Oh, not the crisscross applesauce into the spinaroo. Flippity-doo! Burn!
6.6 seconds left. Score tied at 81. The ball's in Atlanta's hands, and every person in that building knows exactly what's coming. Playoff seeding is on the line for both teams, and the Dream have a real shot to walk out of this one with a win over the team everybody wants to see them beat. This is the moment. One bucket wins it for Atlanta, and Indiana's season shifts if they can't get a stop.
Atlanta continues to own the offensive glass here in the fourth quarter. Great board, just could not convert it.
Was pushed under the hoop just enough to not have a great angle. To OT we go.
Rhyne Howard gets the inbound, and she puts up a three from the wing with 4.9 seconds showing on the clock. It's an air ball, doesn't even touch the rim. But the possession isn't over, because Angel Reese already boxed out Aaliyah Boston and grabbed the offensive rebound clean. She's got position, she's got a look at the rim, and she's got a couple seconds to be the hero for Atlanta. But as the old saying goes, there are only three things certain in life: death, taxes, and Angel Reese missing a point-blank layup.
Hey man, this might be the greatest meme ever right here, dog. I can't hold you. I can't hold you, man. I was looking at this last night. I said, dog, just watch how she walked by. Just diabolical work. Watch this. Look at this. Man, this is hilarious, man. This is hilarious. My goodness. Oh, man. But let's talk about how they were throwing life.
She puts it up, and it clangs off the backboard, then bounces off the front of the rim. No good. Naz Hillman scrambles for the loose ball and fires up a desperation heave before the buzzer sounds, and that one misses too. 3 chances on 1 possession for the Dream to close this out, and none of them go in. Regulation ends the same way it started, tied at 81, except now Atlanta's the team that just blew a golden shot to win it outright. Watch the Atlanta bench in that exact second. That's where you see it first, before any coach says a word to the media. Guys are slumped, some are turning away from the court, and the body language says everything about what's about to unravel over the next 5 minutes. Meanwhile, on the other end, Clark's jogging back like nothing happened, already clapping and talking to her teammates about overtime like it's just the next possession of the night. No panic, no frustration, just business.
Odd with Reese leaking out, finds her, and Reese can't finish. 3 to shoot. Reese will fire a 3. Odd can't hit. Reese left alone. Reese gets denied by. I'm getting stressed out watching her attempt it. Reese can't. Vegas at 9. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Reese gets denied. Reese, guarded by Timpson. Looking to take it to her. Reese, the footwork, couldn't finish it. Okot keeps it alive.
And that calm didn't come out of nowhere. Boston had been living in the passing lanes all night, finishing with 5 steals and 3 blocks, and she's the one who tied Reese up on the boards on that exact sequence that led to the miss. Boston also held Reese scoreless for a stretch early, going 0 for 6 from the field at one point, with 2 blocks from Boston alone. So this wasn't a one-off possession where Atlanta got unlucky. It's a pattern that's been building the entire game, Indiana's defense making things just hard enough that even a clean look turns into a miss. The broadcast cameras find Reese right after the ball clanks off the rim, and they stay on her. Not on Howard, who actually took the first bad shot, but on Reese, whose face says it all in that moment. post-game coverage zeroes right in on that same expression too, because it's the kind of shot that either makes your night or completely changes the story people tell about you. And on this night, it's about to change the story in a way nobody in Atlanta wants.
Well, Angel, your team on a 17-4 run right now. You started that with a 7-0 run. How did you kind of get things going for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing like shit.
So regulation ends locked at 81-81, and every ounce of tension in that building carries straight into the extra period. 3 shots, 0 points, and a dream team that had the win in their hands and let it slide right through their fingers. That's the score. That's the setup. But what actually happens in overtime, specifically what Reese does when the game's on the line again, is the part that gets her own coach talking afterward.
When the whole country's watching, of course we're getting the patented pray up into a me complain. Bang! You a professional basketball player and continuously gallop around like a horsey. Bang! Bang!
Oh, we're missing the OG brick a 2-footer and then fall to the ground.
Oh wait, there it is! Bang!
If only she spent more time working on her shot than at the salon.
Pecan! Butter pecan! Bang! Angel Reese clutch Gene for the win! Bang!
Overtime starts and Clark just takes the game over. She plays 41 minutes, a season high, and finishes with 26 points and 9 assists on the night. 9 for 20 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the line, and every one of those free throw attempts matters because of when they come. Atlanta claws back in overtime and cuts the lead down to 93-91, and that's when Clark steps to the line with 10.8 seconds left and calmly knocks down both free throws to push it back to a 4-point game. Then she grabs the rebound on the next possession and just heaves it down the court to burn clock, because she already knows a foul there is the only way Atlanta comes back. That's not panic basketball. That's a point guard who's done the math in her head before the ball even leaves her hands.
Caitlyn Clark is walking down that MVP. Look, she's going to have to do extra to get it. We know that. It's going to have to be undeniable. You're going to have to put the voters in a position where they look like absolute fools if they don't vote for Caitlyn Clark. We know that. But she is starting to put that case together. She's producing more points than anyone ever has. At some point, you got to give it up. But will that happen, or will it remain crickets? Because we know, if it were the other way, if Caitlyn was struggling, it'd be loud. Will that same energy be kept?
Before those free throws, though, Kelsey Mitchell hits the shot that really puts this one away. With 13.6 seconds left in overtime, Mitchell gets a layup to fall and pushes the lead to 93-88. And that bucket also happens to be her 20th point of the night. That's 19 straight games scoring 20 or more for Mitchell now, 1 game off Aja Wilson's all-time WNBA record. And she gets there by grinding through a rough shooting night, 9 for 22 from the field, and still finding a way when the team needs the shot most.
Her teammates. Stephanie White says she's seeing the whole floor, doing a jump
dream.
circle. Sherrod
Here's Clark, guarded by Sherrod, finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
One of the things to play fast, push the pace, as does Indiana.
Clark bangs all the way in and finishes. Here's Clark, working behind Boston. Has the switch on Reese, will fire, and hit from 3. Cunningham looking for help, finds Clark. Clark to a wide open Harris. Her 3 is good.
And then there's Makayla Timpson, who nobody outside Indiana was talking about a month ago. She scores Indiana's first 3 field goals of overtime, starting with a putback off a Mitchell miss that pushes the lead to 6 and sets the whole tone for the extra period. Timpson finishes with a career-high 20 points on 9 for 13 shooting, and 6 of those points come in overtime alone when the game's tightest. Clark's the one setting up a lot of those looks, finding Timpson cutting to the rim instead of forcing shots herself, and that trust is exactly why a bench name turns into a 20-point night. Over her last 4 games, all starts, Timpson's averaging 9.8 points and 5.3 rebounds, and this is the game where that development actually shows up on the scoreboard against a real playoff team.
Between the fever and dream. Here's Clark, guarded by Sherrod, finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
One of the things you see right away.
Line, missed the lay. Timpson, the putback is good. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Reese gets denied by Timpson.
Back in the fourth quarter, Stephanie White makes the adjustment that sets all of this up. Alicia Gray's been cooking Indiana's defense for 3 quarters, so White switches to a zone, and Atlanta's offense just stops working. Indiana holds the Dream to 9 points in the entire fourth quarter after that switch. Atlanta gets stagnant against it, guys standing around watching one player instead of moving without the ball, and there's no counter for it, because their whole offense up to that point had been built on one-on-one looks instead of ball movement.
Out to Gray, guarded by Clark, 7 to shoot. Gray, looking to take Clark. Gray fading, can't hit. Great box out Boston, good 16 points. Indiana plus 14 in points off turnovers. Gray can't finish it.
Clark's out there setting up Timpson under the rim and finding Mitchell in rhythm, and Atlanta's stuck running isolation basketball that a zone defense shuts down completely. Indiana's offense creates easy shots for multiple players, while Atlanta's offense depends on one player creating something out of nothing, and against a good defense, that's a losing formula every time. Mitchell's 20-point streak and Timpson's career night don't happen without Clark setting the table. And that's exactly what 9 assists looks like when you watch the film instead of just the box score. So you've got Clark elevating everybody around her while Atlanta's stars are stuck watching one person dribble. That exact gap between the two teams, Clark making her teammates better and Reese not doing the same for hers, ends up being the entire subject of what Atlanta's coach says once he sits down at the podium.
Atlanta Dream, they are not happy with Angel Reese. Angel Reese was an absolute travesty to the game of basketball today. She humiliated herself out there. It was ridiculous. The girl missed about 8 or 9 layups right at the rim. She blew a fast break layup all by herself, and she blew the game-winning layup. Alicia Gray not happy. Alicia Gray did her part, 34 points, and she's pissed off Angel Reese blew this game. Head coach Carl Semesco also pissed off with Angel Reese for blowing this game, embarrassing the team.
Carl Semesco sits down at that podium, and the first question is about the fourth quarter collapse. He doesn't come out swinging. He starts slow, talking about spacing and shot selection like he's trying to keep it clinical. But the longer he talks, the more it turns into something else entirely. He gets asked about the final play of regulation, the one where Reese gets the offensive rebound and puts up that contested miss, and his answer is not what you'd expect from a coach trying to protect his player. He says, "We just had to move on to the next play." Then he adds the part that actually matters. "There was supposed to be one screen in there and we kind of forgot the screen." That's Semesco saying, on record, that Reese and Ryan Howard blew the actual play call. Not a tough shot that just didn't fall. A busted assignment on the biggest possession of the night.
Disappointing finish to the game. Kind of a tough fourth quarter for us, and then we had a chance to win it at regulation, and it just didn't go down. And
we had a chance to win it in regulation, and it just didn't go down. He trying to say it like they missed the 3. She missed a point-blank layup. He's pissed. This is the same man that blasted Angel Reese 4 days ago.
He doesn't stop there either. Somebody asks about the fourth quarter in general, and Semesco goes right at the offense falling apart down the stretch. Standing around watching one person with the ball, he says, and then he keeps going, admitting the team worked on zone offense all week in practice and still kind of went away from what we typically do against zone and just kind of watch one person with the ball. He's not naming Reese directly, but everybody in that room knows exactly who touches the ball the most in Atlanta's offense, and exactly who the rest of the team ends up standing around watching.
Try to compete in overtime. I thought players try to execute the game plan really well, especially defensively. It's just disappointing to come up short when we had an opportunity to win.
We had an opportunity. He keeps saying it. We had an opportunity in regulation. We had an opportunity to win. This is directly at Angel Reese. He gonna keep going. He's gonna keep going.
And then he says the line that makes this whole post-game session a different conversation. Talking about the fourth quarter habit resurfacing, Semesco admits, One thing in the past we had trouble with is they get to the fourth quarter and then we just watch one person with the ball try to create everything. And it was just a weird time for that to come back up. He goes on to say this hasn't been us all year, which means he's confirming this exact problem got fixed at some point in the season, and it just so happens to come back in a game against Indiana Fever with a spot in the standings on the line.
I thought we kind of got really stagnant. You still got to move against the zone. I mean, you got to look to penetrate and move the ball, flash into a window and cut. I just thought we got, standing around watching one person with the ball. We talked about it during timeouts, but it's still, we haven't seen a lot of zone, but we have worked on it in practice. And I think in practice, we've done really well against it. I just think today, late in the game, we kind of went away from what we typically do against zone and just kind of watched one person with the ball instead of...
That's the part that lands so hard. This isn't a fan on Twitter or some analyst breaking down film. This is the head coach, the one guy whose entire job is to defend his own locker room to the media. And he's the one pointing out that his team reverted to bad habits at the worst possible time. When your own coach won't cover for you in front of cameras, that tells you something about how the locker room actually feels behind closed doors. Compare that to what you hear out of Indiana. Stephanie White talks about turnover control and discipline like it's the whole identity of her roster, and her players back that up every time they answer questions about how the offense runs. Nobody on the Fever is getting called out for freezing out teammates in crunch time because the ball moves, and everybody who's open gets a shot.
Right at the end of the game that, could have won it for us, but, they rolled out.
He's pissed. We got 2 looks right at the end of the game, 2 layups, and they just rolled out. He's pissed.
Reese still does real things for that Atlanta roster. She rebounds at a high level, and she brings a physical style that shows up in the box score every night. But the same physical, ball-dominant game that gets her boards also gets her a forgotten screen and a contested miss when the season's on the line. And that's the exact contradiction Smesko is describing without ever saying her name directly. Tie it back to that missed layup, tie it back to the overtime the Dream never should have needed, and you get a coach who sounds like he's already run out of patience. And somewhere in that building, on the other bench, Caitlyn Clark saw the whole thing happen live, and her reaction to it is already spreading everywhere.
What shots to take for control the game, but 4 game overall, as Reese can't finish. 10 for Indiana right now. Reese, the crossover. It's tonight from Howard. Reese barrels in, can't finish, tipped out. Cunningham. Reese will fire. 5 seconds. Howard launches, missed it badly. Reese, the putback won't go. Hillman.
Right after that miss, the ESPN cameras catch Clark walking behind Reese, who's got her face buried in her hands. Clark's smiling. Not celebrating, not pointing, just walking with this look on her face like she can't quite believe what she just watched. That clip is everywhere within minutes. Social media sites repost it captioned, "Caitlyn Clark laughing at her after the missed layup to win by a buzzer beater. The rivalry is definitely still alive." One writer calls it poetic justice. Another calls it the funniest lowlight in the history of basketball. And honestly, given everything these two have been through since college, that reaction makes total sense. Because this goes back years before either of them ever put on a WNBA jersey. Clark and Reese built their whole rivalry in the college tournament, different teams, different styles, and a whole lot of history that never really cooled off once they both turned pro. So when Reese misses the biggest shot of the night and Clark's the one walking by with a smile, fans on both sides know exactly what they're looking at. It's not just one missed layup. It's the latest chapter in something that's been building since college.
Atlanta continues to own the offensive glass here in the fourth quarter. Great board, just could not convert it.
Was pushed under the hoop just enough to not have a great angle. To OT we go.
That's exactly why the clip spreads the way it does. Fans clip it, meme it, argue about it, and everybody picks a side within the hour. Some people call Clark disrespectful for smiling at a missed shot. Other people say she's earned the right to laugh after everything Atlanta's thrown at her all season. And that second point is where the game actually gets uncomfortable, because this isn't the first time Reese has put her hands on Clark. Earlier in the first quarter, Reese shoves Clark by the neck while battling for a rebound, right in front of two officials who never blow the whistle. Clark turns to the refs immediately, pointing at her neck, asking for a review, and gets nothing. Fans call it out hard afterward, one writing, "It's every game she's smacking someone," another flat out calling it a flagrant foul that got ignored. That's not the only one either. Reese catches Kelsey Mitchell in the face at one point and throws an elbow at Aaliyah Boston in the final seconds of regulation, and none of it draws a call all night.
There's three things that's guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Angel Reese missing crucial layups. And my goodness, she missed it at a perfect time. Thank you, Angel Reese, because now Fever can move up in the standings because of you. You blew it for your dream.
And through every bit of that, Clark just keeps playing. She's out there locking down Alicia Gray on the defensive end for stretches of the fourth quarter, while Reese is racking up late turnovers and fouls trying to force something that isn't there. That's the real difference fans keep pointing to. Atlanta plays physical all night, and Indiana just absorbs it without ever losing their composure or getting pulled into it. This win pushes Indiana to 4 straight, and every one of those wins matters right now with tiebreakers and home court positioning still up for grabs. Clark herself doesn't even call this one a great performance. She calls it a B- game for the team, and honestly, if a B- is enough to beat a playoff team on the road in overtime, that says everything about where this roster is right now. Add this game to the pile of MVP evidence, because Clark's putting up 26 and 9 while locking down the other team's best scorer and doing it in front of a team that spent the whole night trying to rattle her. Now picture this same roster fully healthy come playoff time, with Boston, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham all clicking the way they did in this one game. That's the version of the Fever showing up in 2026, and it's the version every other team in this league should be worried about. Indiana didn't win this game on talent alone. They won it because Timpson trusted the pass, Mitchell trusted her shot, and Clark trusted every single one of them with the ball in crunch time. That's chemistry. And chemistry doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but it shows up on the scoreboard every single night. Add that to Clark's MVP case, and it's hard to argue against her. 4 straight wins now, with home court still on the line down the stretch. And somewhere in Atlanta, a coach is sitting there wishing his front office never made that trade for Reese at all. Do you think the Atlanta Dream regrets trading for Reese? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.